Sorry, a couple minutes late here, trying to still see technology is not my forte, and Liz is on vacation this week. So this week we're going to talk about rentals to wealth, and as we get into it, I want to share with you a little bit about how I personally got into rentals, because actually that was the first strategy I got into as far as real estate is concerned. So back in 1991, and I wanted to build passive income, and I knew that rentals was the way to go. So one of the things I set up myself is within a year, I wanted to have at least $5,000 in passive income from real estate. And with rentals, 5,000 in 91 was a decent amount of money. So I set myself out there to go for what I would call some of the low hanging fruit as far as getting the leads, right? So I start thinking about where can I find landlords that are motivated, number one. Number two, that are willing to be maybe creative and think outside the box to help me step into getting some rentals. Because I wanted to be pretty aggressive, and I knew that just going bank financing was probably not my best option for different reasons. First of all, I did not have a job, and second of all, I had pretty fairly new credit, so I didn't have that many credentials to my name to help me to just get the regular financing. So I'm very much of a believer where there is a will, there is a way, right? So what I did is I start thinking outside the box, and I start thinking, okay, where can I find property owners or landlords that maybe are looking to transition out of their property and they're willing to let them go. Now, the other thing I figured also out, if the property needed some work, was probably going to be the best option, right? And a lot of you have heard of the BRRRR method, right? BRRR, which stands for buy, rehab, fix up the property, rent, so you can get some income. Now you can refinance because you have the income from the property, and repeat, right? So that's what BRRRR method stands for. So before even that was a term, I decided that was kind of the way it was going to go. So with that said, I went after property where they seemed they needed quite a bit of work. I went after REOs, bank-owned property, again, that maybe were not their prize jewels, they were the property that needed quite a bit of work, or they were not in the best parts of town. But the banks were willing to finance these properties. I went also to smaller banks, right? So a combination of things that I did got me to accrue a portfolio of over 40 doors um, and 16 properties within about 18 months, which also gave me an income of $10,000 a month instead of five. So it's a combination of things that I did. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of give you the story behind it, to say that a lot of time we get caught into the some of the things that you might know from experience in life are not true as far as real estate. Like it takes money to make money, or it sounds too good to be true. Sometimes with properties and real estate, that's not the case. Okay, so what type of properties? So first of all, let's talk about different type of investments as far as rentals. There is a horizontal investment and vertical investment. Horizontal means you buy a lot of smaller property, usually 4 units or less, which are considered residential. So that's horizontal investment. Where vertical investment is where you buy larger apartment buildings. Okay, so usually 5 units or more is considered commercial. Now, a lot of people start with horizontal and then do a 1031 exchange and go into vertical. I personally like horizontal and I stayed with that, but I know people that transition into vertical investment. Then there is the type of real rentals you're looking for. You can look for short or long term, right? Long term is the regular residential, usually is a year or longer, a year lease or longer. Short is Airbnb, VRBO, that type. And then there's midterm that can go usually anywhere from 30 days to a year. And those are considered more like, you rent to like traveling nurses, corporate, that type of things, right? Or seasonal. So there's three type of investments, and then also, there are different type of properties, right? You can rent residential, you can rent commercial, even you can rent land. There are different type of investments for different type of properties. We share the PDF with you at the beginning of the week, and so make sure you download the PDF. It goes into a little more detail of what I just talked about. It's not a long-term and short-term. Now, as far as evaluation on the property, I like, because at the end of the day, you want to make money every month, right? You want to pocket some cash flow every month. I know that when I decided that I was going into rental, I wanted to pocket $5,000 every month. I mean, yeah, of course, we think about appreciation and tax breaks and all this wonderful stuff. But let's face it, a lot of us want money every month, right? So with that said, and also it's a good practice because we saw in 2007, 2008, people that did not go for cash flow are the one that got hurt the most because now they didn't have any money coming in and they were banking on appreciation that wasn't there. It was negative, actually. So I always say, because that will let you weather bad times in the economy. So if you go through times where, I mean, rentals are always pretty stable. I never see really rentals going down. If anything, they go up, right? And so if you have a fixed mortgage, there shouldn't be any problems there, as long as you have a positive cash flow every month, right? So with that said, I think rentals are always a very stable way to weather different type of storms when it comes to economy and things, in real estate. So that's something that I would definitely recommend, that you also for leverage, for tax reasons, for depreciation, for a lot of things. At the end of the day, the tenants are paying down the mortgage and building up your equity, right? So it's a win-win situations. So rentals, definitely, that's why we said, and back when I started in real estate, honestly, rental income was considered what is a really bona fide investor would do. Wholesaling wasn't a thing. I mean, sporadically somebody would call flip a contract, but it wasn't a strategy, okay, until probably the 90s. Fix and flip, yeah, of course, that has always been around, where people would fix a property to either resell or live in themselves. And rentals, though, has always been there for hundreds of years, right? We go back to the medieval times when people were renting land and farms and everything. It's always been what built wealth. If you think about it, back in the days, right? You saw this, this is funny, but if you look at like Jane Austen, right, in England, and all these rich people that never did anything, it's because they had properties. They rented out. They have this huge old money, as they call it, and the old money usually comes from real estate. Okay, so if you're looking to build a legacy and build this type of money, rentals is the way to go, even in a small scale. You don't have to own hundreds of rentals, but even if you own a dozen and you have paid them for, that's the other thing that we do. Is like, one of the things we do is leverage wholesaling to pay off the rentals. So I had students, Jimmy and Patricia, they were able to pay off all their rentals with wholesaling within 3 years. 3 years, they own a portfolio free and clear of rental properties. So you can leverage wholesaling with rentals. So I know I gave you a lot of here food for thought. I'm gonna try to see if I see any. I don't know if I can see any of the chats here. Let me see. But was this good information for everybody? Does that make sense? Hopefully. I don't know if I can see the chats. I'm sorry. Let me see. Actually, I can. Okay. So one of the things I want to say to you is, I know I threw a lot of you in about 10 minutes, but the thing is, and I see the question. So what's the quickest way to pick them up? Great question. I'm going to answer that in a second. So I want to say, let everybody know that we have a master class. We haven't done it for a few months, honestly. I was telling Liz about this. We need to get back and start doing that. So we have the next one coming up. It's on April 8th. April 8th, and it's 5 days, is 1 hour each day. And the focus of this master class is to really break down the three main strategies for wholesaling, buying, holding, fix, and flip, but also go into really the steps within these strategies, what you need to do, and also how you can use wholesaling to pay off your rentals. And at the end of the day, you don't leave money on the table if you know both strategies, because let's say that your main focus is rental properties, and you're going to come across all kind of leads. And what should you do with the leads that you don't want as a rental? You wholesale it, right? You at least make some money that way. So that we're going to go into the masterclass. So it's really, really inexpensive. We wanted to make this affordable for anybody. So if you can afford a cup of coffee, in the morning, you can afford this masterclass. Only $7. And it's really a ton of information. We've done these masterclasses for a few years. We hadn't done it in a while. And so we're going to reprise this year, next month. I suggest you also attend that, because we're going to change the formats of the masterclass in the future. But this is a tested and proven way that we have got a lot of results for people. So you really want to sign up at the link that we posted here. Now, going back to a couple of things, and I kind of sidetrack how you analyze deals. I take what I call the income approach. The income approach is because I said at the end of the day, you want to make sure you make money every month. So a lot of the time when appraisers evaluate rental properties and they don't have comps in the area, they use the income approach. So basically they take the income of the property minus the expenses, minus your profit, and then it would give you a net amount. And then that net amount is what you have available to service the loan. Okay, so we have a little bit of a breakdown in the PDF. So if you go there at the beginning of the week, and also we're going to go a lot more details during the masterclass in April. But basically it is rental income per month, take off all the expenses, including your profit, and then we'll leave you a certain amount, and that's what you have available. Now you know how much to offer on the property, because it will support a certain mortgage amount plus 20%, which is usually the down payment if you go the regular route. And so that's one thing. Now, to answer the questions about what is the quickest way to pick properties, remember what I said, that I was really targeting tired landlords, right? So think about it. Where are you going to get tired landlords? I personally look for eviction lists. I look for rent signs, and there's some other clever ways, like go to home improvement stores on a weekend where tired landlords hang out. They don't want to have to fix up the property, but they need to buy their supplies. So there is clever ways to target that. But yeah, like I said, definitely come on the masterclass. We're going to go over a lot of ways to do that, but this is just some of them. Let's see. Okay, I'm looking at the comments here. I meant to find them and buy them. Yeah, I think I answered that. I don't see the name here from my chat of who posted it. But yeah, to find, like I said, think of it, tired landlords, right? One of the first ways I did is back in 91, we didn't have internet yet. Can you believe that? So I would buy the Sunday paper, and I would look for anything for sale by owner or renters. And I was trying to read between the lines. If they were renting a property, did they seem they're like kind of aggravated? Did they seem to give incentives, like, first month free, deposit, need some work, things like that. So I would call everybody, but I would start with the ones that seem more desperate and then work my way up. And then a lot of times I had so many of those desperate that I would talk to that I never got to the other ones. But, that's how I was able to buy one property a month for about 18 months. Then what happened after that, I kind of stopped for a minute, and then I stumbled across, and during this process, just to give you a little bit of a story here, people like stories. During the process of me buying this property, I was at the closing table one day, and I realized that the property I was buying on title was not the same person on the contract, right? And so I was like, I talked to the broker, and I was like, because he was the one selling the property to me, he's the one who showed as the seller on the contract. I said, what's going on? And he said, I'm flipping the contract to you, which in modern terms, that's wholesaling, right? So I said, oh, okay. So I said, that's a strategy. And so I went to work for him and then I started wholesaling. That's why I took a little bit of a hiatus at the end of 93 from buying rental properties because I went into wholesaling. Okay. And then I went back into rentals later. Um, okay. So as far as negotiation, what you say to them, one of the things, we're going to talk more in the masterclass again. That's a whole day session that we host around that. But one of the things I always say is that be yourself. Uh, Worry more about the connections than being a salesperson. At the end of the day, women, we're natural at that. That's why women are successful in real estate, because we are good at doing that, right? Have a conversation. Just imagine if you were driving down the street and you saw a for rent sign and you saw a property in distress with for rent sign in the front. What would you do? Well, you would call up the owner and says, I just was driving by and um, and I saw that you have a house for sale, and I understand it might need some work. I was just wondering what you plan to do with the property. Just have a conversation, right? People see through. They don't want to deal with salespeople. They don't want to deal with people they feel like they're predatory in their interest and stuff like that. Just have a conversation. That's why I don't really particularly like scripts, but I like to have conversations. Okay. Great. So a couple of things here. I have a raffle here to give out. So usually, bear with me, Liz does this, but I'm here handling this today. So we have a raffle winner. So if you are here, you need to comment in the chat, okay? And I'm trying to see what it is. Oh wow, this is super cool, guys. I wish we can share this. Is a toaster with the colors of REIW. I mean, it's so cute. I think about mine and myself. Is a toaster with the color of REIW and gold. A toaster. I was like, is that a toaster? I couldn't see. I thought it was a misspell, but I think it was posted in the groups. Also, we are going to give you a $25 Lowe's gift card, right? Remember what I said, going to the home improvement stores on weekends, and there's some clever ways. Those are some of my best sources as far as leads for rental properties. So the raffle winner is Sonia Robert. Okay, so Sonia Robert is going to be the winner. So please comment here in the chat, and you need to email to questions@realestateinvestingwomen.com to get that. So okay, let me try to share the screen. One of my assistants said, why don't you just share the screen? Okay, so let me try this. You have to understand, I'm not Liz when it comes to stuff like this. So let's see if I can do it without messing something up. Because it's super cute, guys. You have to see it. And if you didn't win it, okay, great. So Sonia's here. Don't know how to. There it is. Okay, I'm going to share that today. Okay, guys, see that? Isn't that the coolest thing? I was like, oh my God, it's a colors of REIW. Which, by the way, my back wall, I just moved here. That's why you have a white. It looks like I'm. Somebody told me it looks like I'm kind of in a detention camp or something. I'm an hostage somewhere. But no, it's just I moved in and I still have to get to the background. But I'm gonna have a background with the colors of REIW and probably with palm trees and the color of REIW. So, but I love this toaster. This is so cool. Isn't it cool? Okay. So great. I'm going to look to see if there's any other questions here before we log off for the day. So yeah, of course it's pink. It's the colors of REIW, right? Start promoting there. So okay, looking to see. I don't see any other questions. Oh, what do you say to them in the store? No, you don't put in the store. We put banded signs outside in the parking lot in strategic locations. And then we have sayings on the banded signs that we say. So, if you come to the masterclass, I will share with you some of the ones that are the most. Remind me, though, when you come to the masterclass, remind me, and I will share some of my favorite ones, okay? that I write just with a permanent marker. Great. Okay. So, well, thanks everybody. Hopefully this was helpful, got you some food for thought. And I look forward to seeing you at the masterclass that we have coming up in April. It's going to be a lot of fun. We already have a lot of people that signed up even before we start really promoting it, which is super nice. And I'm looking forward to interact with everybody of you. We'll be every day for 1 hour a day. We're going to give a ton of information. We're going to go into rentals, fix and flips, wholesaling, private money. We're going to go into contracts, all kind of clever strategies, some of the new strategies that are coming up that you really need to know, right? There is a number one winning strategy for which one of the main three, which is wholesaling, buying, hold, fix, and flip. But within those strategies, there is some new clever ones that are coming up to really get you ahead of the competition, as they call it. Okay, so thanks everybody, and I'll see you in April. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next week on the live. Take care.